Hello good people! In this video I will present to you one of the most daring inventions in terms of furniture accessories. Personally, I got to know it more than 13 years ago, during which time I have used it in dozens of projects without receiving any complaints. This time I am in my own home where I implemented this system more than 5 years ago, and it has not required any adjustments or maintenance since. The mechanism is called Aventos HF from Blum and fits perfectly into the design used by most architects and designers, as it maintains the horizontal lines created by the drawer fronts and also in the case of suspended cabinets of the kitchen using lifting systems for the doors. I will show you immediately why this system is extremely useful. Here we have two similar suspended furniture units. For the first one, I use the classic gas piston lifting system. We can see that in this case we have access to only one compartment, and the closing is not a very silent one. For cabinet number 2, I use the Aventos HF lifting system from Blum. It is easy to see that after opening the doors we have access to the entire surface of the cabinet in both compartments. We can also see all the objects, thus choosing the desired object more easily. We also notice how simple and silent the closing of the doors is. Furthermore, I am pleased to announce that I will present to you in detail and step by step how to install this accessory in furniture units. To begin with, some technical details about the design of the furniture unit. The one in my kitchen where I implemented the Aventos system, the dish drainer, has the following dimensions: 900 mm in length, 700 mm in width and 300 mm in depth. In this case, the doors have the following dimensions: 897 in length and 347 in height. To identify these dimensions, I used a classic formula where I followed this simple rule. A distance of 1.5 mm is necessary between the doors and the body of the unit, both on the left and right sides, as well as in the upper and lower parts. Between the doors, the distance must be 3 mm. To start, I will install the two lifting mechanisms on the side walls of the furniture unit, which are also the basic pieces of the entire mechanism. The manufacturer instructs us to make two 5 mm holes for each mechanism using the following formula. In my case, when the height of the unit is 700 mm, the manufacturer indicates that I fall into the second category between 550 mm and 1040 mm as the height of the unit and tells me to use the following formula. KH, which is 700 mm, the height of the unit, multiplied by 0.3 minus 57, which gives us H. If we apply this mathematical formula to our situation, the result is a distance of 153 mm on the vertical axis, where I will mark the axis for the 2 points where I will drill with the 5 mm drill bit. It's nothing difficult or complicated, but you need to be a little careful. The manufacturer, Blum, also comes to our aid with an application called Easy Assembly, which we can find in the Play Store. It belongs to Blum and we can find a lot of information here. We are interested in lift systems, Aventos HF, finding the lifting mechanism fixed in position, and now by simply sliding to plus or minus we will set the height of our unit and the application will generate the dimension at which we need to mark the axis for the two holes. Returning to the workshop, I adjust the multifunctional square to 153 mm. If you don't have one, you can also use a tape measure. I have added in the description of this tutorial two links, one to the episode about how to use a tape measure and one for the episode about how to use a multifunctional square or Starrett square. I draw the two horizontal lines according to the mounting instructions provided by the manufacturer. On the just obtained axis, following the indications, I will draw a vertical line at 37 mm and another at 192 mm, after which I will take the drill and make the two holes with a depth of at least 5 mm. I will then fix the mechanism with the two protrusions visible in the video on the holes I just made and secure it with the screws provided. For the visible parts I will use Blum's connectors as shown in the video, and for the other parts I will use 7x50 wood screws. Now it's time to drill each door separately to insert the special hinges of the system. I will explain in detail what this is all about. I will mark the center of the hole for each hinge at 100 mm from the lateral ends of the door and 21.5 mm from the edge. These are standard measurements that I use for hinges, and they work very well in this case as well. Using a 35 mm drill bit, I will make a hole with a depth of 13 mm, gradually entering the material bit by bit. I have drilled the holes for the hinges on both the top and bottom door. We always use a protective foil on the workbench so that the doors remain intact, safe and without any scratches. The connection between the hinge and its plate, which represents the link between the door and the body, is made simply and elegantly with the help of clip technology. In the video we have the special hinge for door number 1, looking from top to bottom. With the help of a straight plate, I align the hinges on the door, and after properly adjusting the drill's torque, I move on to the next step, which is to actually attach the hinges to the door. I will do the same with door number 2. There are a few more steps to go and the installation will be complete. Next, I will connect the two doors with the hinges that have just been installed. For this, I will draw a line at 37 mm from this edge, directly above each hinge. Once again, I am careful to insert the screws without forcing them. I connect the upper door to the suspended body, marking the hinge plate at the same distance of 37 mm. Before the final adjustments and assembly, I have one more task to complete, and that is to attach these two accessories to the lower door. These two accessories represent the coupling between the lifting arms and the two doors. Also, for this, we have instructions to follow. First, I measure the center of my door, and from this center I go X millimeters down to find the center of this hole where I will insert the first screw. X depends on the height of the body. In my case, I fall into category 2 with a body height of 700 millimeters, so X is equal to 47. To find the exact location of this marking, I also need to know the distance from the edge of the door. And we have 12.5 plus SFA, where SFA is the front overlay. I remind you that from the design phase we have established the mandatory distance between the door and the furniture body of 1.5 millimeters. All the plywood sheets have a thickness of 18 mm and the door covers the front except for this distance of 1.5 mm. Therefore, SFA is equal to 18 mm minus 1.5, and that is 16.5 mm. Now that we have found SFA, we have 12.5 plus 16.5, and that is 29. So I will draw this line at 29 mm from the edge, and I have found the position where I will attach the coupling with the help of 3.5 by 16 screws. And we have reached the long-awaited moment of final assembly. In the first step, I will take care of these components of our kit, these lifting arms. The final assembly of the component parts is very simple, just by clipping without the need of any tools. First, however, I would like to address a request to you. Please take note of these manufacturer's warnings, as these arms, once inserted into the lifting system, can cause accidents, and from my own experience I can assure you that this is the case. Therefore, follow the steps, take note of the suggestions, and everything will be okay. And that's all you need to know. Don't forget to press like, leave a comment or share this video with other friends passionate about DIY projects. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and check out my other interesting tutorials.